Yeah, the generator. I had to come away from the generator so you couldn't hear it.
There you go. All right, you perfect people. Perfect's a bad word to use.
Oh, it's a perfect word.
Is
The
it
world,
perfect?
everything's perfect.
Perfect. Okay, yeah. The reason, because I'm kind of stuck on the whole P thing, because we got the Puerto Rican princess here that has no power. She does have power because she's got the generator. So it's Johanna. How are you doing there? You Puerto Rican princess? How's things?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. You've gone 4 days without any power.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Puerto Rico, yes. So I keep forgetting to do this. Bay Lifestyle. Bay Lifestyle is the name of your company, right? So I want to remember that. So if people want to get a hold of you, they can go on Instagram, Facebook, all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, they can schedule a meeting with me right on my website, or like always, 815-501-5070. Call me, text me. If I don't answer, leave me a message and I'll make sure to get back.
So you allow people, you give out your phone number. Have you got any regrets about that ever? Has anybody ever called you with some weird stuff?
Thank God, no. I actually have gotten really amazing calls. Like
Oh.
I've met a lot of cool people because of it. So
Very cool.
it hasn't worked out negatively so far.
You know what? And nowadays too, if somebody gets to be a creep or whatever, you can always just block them, right?
Just block them.
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about it.
I think it's a pretty cool thing because a lot of businesses now, you try to get a hold of somebody, you got multiple secretaries and all these steps you got to go through, especially in your line of work where you're trying to help people and they feel like they can get a hold of you directly. That's cool. Very cool.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm really blessed to be sort of retired at my age. So I mean, I have some time available and I love to share it.
Okay, good deal. Okay, so the Hurricane Erin is past you now or no?
Yeah, it was north of here, but of course it brought a lot of wind and thunderstorms and rain. So
right.
Yeah.
And the grid there in Puerto Rico is tough. Like, was there a storm a few years ago that kind of ruined the grid? Is that what it was? Okay.
Yeah, after Hurricane Maria, and then the government gave a contract to this U.S.-based company called Luma, and they finished messing everything up. So, yeah, we won't talk about that. That's all politics. We don't talk about politics.
Oh, I know. No kidding. If we ever got into politics, what a mess. Yeah. The only thing I'd say about politics was I really had never been involved before. I thought the orange man, Mr. Trump, there was very interesting. So I got more involved in it. And the more I got to learn about it, the more I realized I don't want to know anything.
No. You got to pick your battles, you know?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's all a big show. We really have very little. Big money runs the world anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So
yeah, it's all an illusion, but most people are very attached to that illusion, and that's okay as well.
It is an illusion, right? Like people, they start arguing, or it's the Epstein files or whatever like that. And it's all a big show. They I think the Democratic, the Fox News, the CNN, they all play their role in it. It's not just the politicians; it's the media as well. So
well, it's another way to keep us divided, you know.
Yeah, totally.
To keep people in bad vibes. Like it's so easy to get mad at each other over things that we believe, even if we don't actually have any control over it.
Totally.
But
there's nothing we can do about it. Like you feel bad, like the stuff in Ukraine and the Gaza Strip and all that. It's terrible stuff, but we can't do anything about it anyway. So it's
and if you want to do something about it, then join Habitat for Humanity or go and send food. Like I mean, it's easy to just blab and complain and be angry about things, but the true power comes in your ability to actually stand up and do something.
Right.
And most people don't do that. That's too hard. It's easier to just complain than to actually act.
So we were joking around. We're not joking around. We're actually very serious before the show. Where I have my plan now. I'm going to win Powerball. I'm going to win, and I want to buy. I want to I hope that you've been a large part of it. Where I want to get a house that's very healthy, mentally and physically healthy. So they get this house in Malibu. It's only about $30 million, but
only.
Yeah. And it's all based on a Hawaiian kind of theme to it with the rivers running through it and the water and all that kind of stuff. So very interesting. Do you consider Hawaii a very spiritual kind of place?
A lot of people. I guess. I mean, there's certain parts in the world that are points of high frequency, and California is one of them.
Right.
But yeah.
California is one of them too, you think? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. All major religions have had people come there and establish things there because it's got a very high frequency.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. Let's get into that. A very high frequency. So, which means like this is part that I'm still kind of catching on to. You've educated me a lot. So, high frequency means what?
So there's so the earth itself has a vibration.
Right.
The reason why we feel like everything is in such disarray is because we are not matching the vibration of the earth. Animals match the vibration of the earth, but at the moment we are not, because we think that we live on earth and we like own it.
Gotcha.
But that's not the case. Like no animal needs anything that the earth can offer it. And if we lived in alignment with the earth, then neither would we. But because like we live in this materialistic era, which is a very low frequency in which you're always lacking something. There's always something you need. There's something better that you can get. So it causes us to be very unsettled with where we are. And that aspect of it, where we are living in a lack mentality, leads our frequency to be much lower.
Okay. So that's so you talk like a dog, for example. Like a dog's frequency is just feed me, walk me, pet me. I don't care about anything else, right?
Well, dogs are a little unique
Oh.
because dogs have been so domesticated that most of them wouldn't be able to survive without the help of the humans. So dogs are like in this in between, but
Okay.
like any animal that like is born in the wild, they don't need the help of anything else. The wild has everything they need to support them, other than the fact that we're killing a lot of this natural space for the animals
Right.
to live in.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay, so like a deer, for example, doesn't need a human being to survive on Earth. Just needs Earth, right? The food, water, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so therefore their frequency more aligns with the frequency of Earth.
Hmm.
Interesting. So how does that factor in then? Is that the same? Now I'm telling you, I'm really fascinated by this part. Like the whole soul thing about the fact that the potential is, and I know you really believe this, that we like there's just, oh, I didn't choose to come to this earth. Well, yeah, you did. You chose to come to this earth. You chose who your parents are going to be, the environment, and you chose that because there's something you need to learn. There's something you need to get back, but you don't know what you need to learn until your time here on earth is done, right? Like right now.
Well, you forget.
Oh.
You know before you come, but then you're born and you forget.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So that's part of the why we're here. It's to remember. And the fact that we're so stuck in the physical body and it feels like we are so separate makes it so that we forget even more, because we believe that we are this individual that's very solid, very different. You are you, I am me. But that's all because of how the brain processes things. It's not real.
You know what I found myself lately? So I almost felt like it was a curse that people would contact me because they needed help, like serious, like mental help or whatever it is. And I've looked back at my life and there's all these times where I've had to help other people. And I always looked at it like, oh, geez, why me? I'm starting to think, well, no, not why me. I mean, it's for a reason, right?
To be honest, like you should consider that a privilege.
Yeah, I do now. That's interesting you say that. I really do. I look at it totally differently now that there's something, whatever it is, people come to me for help.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Like I'm a strong believer that we're here to walk each other home. And we are here to remind ourselves of our divinity and our power and our uniqueness and our brilliance. But because it's easier for me to tear you down than bring you up, because we're taught to be jealous and to want something more than what we have, then it's hard for us to recognize that in others, because instead of being like, wow, like Tom has accomplished so much in his life, like that's so amazing, I'm like, God, I wish I would have accomplished what Tom has accomplished, right? So like we look at things from a perspective of jealousy and lack rather than like amazement and brilliance. And that's a shift that when we make that shift, it makes us so much happier.
Okay,
people,
so you've made, as you call it, you've made that shift, right?
I want to believe I have.
No, I think you definitely have. So you weren't always you didn't always believe the way you believe now. You've shifted over time from.
I mean, in 2008, like, or 2000, the end of 2007, like I was going to be a race car driver. And I had a ride and I had everything. And then when all of that got taken away, like I was so much in the I lost my life and I lost this and I'm not going to be able to do that. And I was very much stuck in that negative world. So of course the people around me that were able to continue and that even still are driving cars that I grew up racing, like that to me was like I wish I had that.
Right.
Now I look back and I'm like that was never meant to be my path,
Right.
like
Right. Like it wasn't poor you. That was the plan. That was the way it was supposed to be.
yeah, but it's easy, when we're having bad situations to get lost in the victim mentality
Right.
of what you lost instead of what you can potentially gain from the situation.
So, like, even now, where you're at now in your life and your beliefs and the things you've learned, you're not and I mean this, I know you're going to answer no, you're not perfect, but you can still, like, if somebody else has something, I mean, you can still have a temporary kind of like, oh geez, I wish I had that too kind of mentality, right? Like, I mean, you can't be, are you perfect? Do you feel like you really have that nailed down, like that will not enter your mind at all?
I mean, I guess it can sometimes enter my mind, but I am so
Right.
like when I look at other people and the life that they're living, like I can't do anything but feel blessed for the
Okay.
life that I get to live because most people live a life that's determined by society. And I live a life determined on what I want to do. And it isn't always easy, right? Because like I don't have a steady paycheck. I don't have a 401k. I don't have other security things that other people have, but I get to live every day the way I want.
Right.
And so like it's a balance. Some people need that security in order to feel okay. And I rather live every day the way that I want versus feeling like I have this security, which is kind of a mindset anyways, but
yeah, because and the advantage there too is at some point for all of us, whether people believe the way you do or not, our time here is going to end, right?
Yeah.
So people go, I think, so you're looking at, not this is the sole reason, but so people go through all this stuff like going to school and doing what everybody else tells them they should do, and then their time, however you want to call it, I've stopped calling it death now, man. That's kind of like I really got to this point where
you're transitioned.
I've transitioned, yes, and I'm still transitioning. Like I really still learn things, and it's pretty cool.
Like if you think about it, you've already died so many times.
Yeah.
Like versions of
you
have died and you've evolved into something else that wasn't there before and it's there now. Like why is it so hard to think that once this body dies, you're not just transitioning into something else? Like I mean it's life. Everything transitions. It's just a part of this experience.
Yeah. Our buddy Ron Jameson up here in beautiful Buffalo, New York, former veteran. Or not former veteran, he is a veteran. Quick question. I'm contemplating retirement at one point. Satisfied that you brought to the table for others acknowledge recognition. Seek to feel accomplished.
So that's a question you have to ask yourself, right? Because how much or how little you bring to the table for yourself and others is just a thought. It's something that you decide. So if you look at your life and you feel like there's something still in me, some music that hasn't been sung, and then there should be something you should do. But if you're like okay with everything you've accomplished and what you've been able to give, like for example, I really love helping people. Like it's just a part of me. And when I look back to even when I was a child, like I've always been a teacher. I've always shared information. And so what can I do, right? So I work with Defy Ventures. I've worked with SCORE. And I volunteer in a lot of ways because that's how I feel like I can continually give back without it taking away from anything else I would like to do in my life. So that's very individual to any person that you ask. And really it's a question that you should really just sit down and be like, okay, now that I'm retired, I have more time and I am okay financially and I'm secure. Is there something that I still want to do? And maybe you're really good with your hands. So maybe you volunteer for Habitat for Humanity and you build some homes, or maybe you're a doctor. So then you give your time to Doctor Without Borders. Maybe you're a vet and then you start castrating and neutering stray dogs or cats. Like there's so many ways that we can say, okay, this is what I'm good at and this is how I can share it to even the smallest seed to make the world a better place, and then go with that.
And I think part of that too, then, is not comparing yourself to somebody else, right? It's just saying for you, right? Just like, don't say, well, this guy did this and this guy did that. Right.
Yeah, because some people have never had an inclination to help others.
Yeah.
And if there is no intrinsic thing that's missing from them, then that's okay too. Like, you know?
It's funny you say that. The reason I'm laughing is there's some people that are, I'll be careful because it may point too directly to people, but there's people that I know that I think are fantastic people, but they've never had a thought about helping somebody else. It just does not enter into their thought process. And they're nice people. They're good people. If I needed them at some point, they'd be there for me. But yeah, to just say, I'm going to random, like just a person is a homeless guy on the street, I'm going to go buy him lunch. It would never enter their mind. Right.
Yeah. Like that's a thing here in Puerto Rico. There's people that just stand on the streets and ask for money. So I always have snack bars and water bottles in my car.
Right.
And I always ask them, are you hungry? Are you thirsty? Because I'm also not going to give it to them if they're not going to eat it. Right. But I ask them, do you want water? And I'll just hand them a water. Like sometimes I really want to give one of them a hug and I'll just get out and give them a hug. Like, I mean, like, and you would think like that doesn't matter, but how often do you think these people are getting a hug, and how good does it feel when you get a hug, right? So like forget that you're gonna have to take a shower because you're probably gonna smell afterwards. Like you just ignore all of that and you say, you know, how important would it be for me if I was in a situation like that for someone to be kind enough to just give me a hug or to just sit next to me and just talk to me, right? Instead of looking down on me like I don't matter or like I'm occupying space.
I was wow. You know what's interesting? So we got into all these discussions. Maybe I think partly because I'm paying attention more, but other things are happening. So I had an Uber ride on Sunday, and a really nice woman. She was Dominican, I think, or maybe she was. Yeah, I think she was Dominican, and she was talking about how she lost her brother he took his own life, and how it really devastated the mother. And the woman, the driver what's her name? Roberta, I think her name was. She was fantastic. I thought it was very interesting. She said, "Listen, I tried to tell my mother, like, we're being selfish. If he felt it was better for him to move on to someplace else, and if he's happy wherever he is now, then that's how we should look at it. Instead of, again, obviously we miss him, all that kind of stuff, but to be devastated by it.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to be careful, right? Because when you get into that topic of suicide, you don't ever want to think it's okay. You want to always try to say to people, no, don't take your life. But for people that have lost people to suicide, I mean, there's probably a healthier way to look at that, right?
Well, the thing is, so a lot of times we identify ourselves with losses that we have, and that becomes a part of our identity.
Right.
So holding on to that grief and to that state helps us have an identity.
Right.
And again, it's not that it's right, it's not that it's wrong, but you have to look at it as, is this leading me to live a happy life, or is it leading me to suffer? And understand that it is up to us, because we're the ones who attach to it. It is up to us to start releasing that attachment, or to look at how is this affecting other areas of my life. And if it's serving you or others around you, and if it's not, then something has to be done, whether finding help, talking, or just really looking at how your thought pattern is when you think about those things. I mean, a lot of this goes back to the inner work and to how much we identify ourselves with the things that happen to us. I mean, I have a young cousin who lost her fiance, and it's been years, and she still talks about him like he left her.
Oh.
Like he somehow did something wrong to her. And it's like he got sick and died. Like he didn't do anything to you, you know? But again, that's just how she has identified with it. And she identifies as this woman who lost her fiance. And that's become a part of her identity, which is then really hard for you to move on and live in the present, because you're still living in the past.
Well, that's interesting. And it kind of goes to what we talked about that I had mentioned there. I was talking to an old teammate of mine, and he's gone through some tough times himself, and a great guy. But he's gone through the drugs and alcohol, but it's really made him kind of look at like the things I've got through, like learning more, studying more stuff about life and all everything. And he was talking about how somehow we got on the subject about how people attach themselves to somebody else's grief. There's a syndrome for it. I looked up a couple of terms: secondary traumatic stress and vicarious trauma. There were several terms that were attached to it, but basically it was it's something similar to what you're talking about with your cousin there, where I mean, it was another person that died. Now, I guess it's somewhat different, and that was her fiance. So that's really how she's part of what she's defined herself as, that person, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and that happens a lot because if you think about how we're growing up from childhood, it's very rare nowadays that parents let children really be who they are.
Yeah.
Because from the beginning, if you do this, you're wrong. If you do that, you're right. If you think this, you're wrong. If you think that. So it's hard for people to create their own identity and understand their own selves. So then they grow up without an identity, and it's easier for you to attach to these things and create an identity based on that when you don't really understand who you are.
That's interesting. Well, I'm thinking about my parents with me, because I always felt like I was able to really have my own identity, who I was. My parents, I wonder if they knew that or not. And I love my parents to death. They're both passed away now, and I don't want to disparage their, but I don't know if they really thought that way, or if that's just the way they grew up. It's like the father, he's got to go to work. He's got to milk the cows and everything. I think it's more like, listen, he's fine. Little Tommy's fine. He'll take care of himself. He'll figure out all that stuff. And
yeah. I mean, I'm very lucky that I had a mom who was like, you must work, you must go to school, you must have financial security. And I have a father who was like, what do you want to do? What do you want to create? Right. Think about that. So I have I'm an MBA, so I have an education, but at the same token, like, I've always had my own business because my dad fostered that part, and he's always been my number one cheerleader, always. And that duality really helped me grow up as, like, my mom was super smart and gave me this brain smart, and my dad wasn't school smart but has always had a business, so he has the street smart. So I'm really lucky that I had both of those things.
It was a great video of this little boy, just a random little boy at a play set or play up at a playground or whatever, and there's a little tire there. And it was like the flip tires, but it was a small little kid size. It must have been like 3 or 4 years old. And the kid, I think, didn't know it didn't look like he knew the video camera was on him, but he started trying to lift the tire and he couldn't do it. And he just kept going and going and going, and finally got the tire up. And the caption they put over was, nobody was there to tell him he couldn't do it. I thought it was pretty cool, right? It's like, somebody was coming up, listen, you can't do that. It's too heavy. And instead, he just didn't know anything.
And that's the thing too. Like, if we are told that there's something that we can't do and we believe it, like, whether you think you can or you cannot, you are right.
Right.
Because it's you're the one who decides it. That's why when this thing happened to my arm that I couldn't lift it up, and all the doctors were telling me, you're never going to do yoga again. You're never going to do this. And I just looked at him and I was like, you know what the problem is? That word means nothing to me. I don't understand what you're saying. So I'm going to do my own thing, and I'm going to let my body determine what's going to happen, not your words.
Right. Okay. So I know your father is a big part of that, but there's like, I had that too, where if somebody told me I couldn't, like, my thing's the NHL. So if somebody told me I couldn't play, like, I would get like a savage. Like, I had one guy tell me, like, he says, nobody in this team's ever going to play in the NHL. And I just lost my mind. This was in college. And I felt bad for the guy, but I just snapped. And I said, did you ever see that? Like, why do you think some people have, I know, like, the upbringing and everything. Do you think that's what it is? Like, you're brought up a certain way, or do you think people just have a certain amount of that inside them already?
Yeah, I think that could be nurture versus nature. Like, if you're consistently applauded for trying new things versus being told you can't do that, you grow up with that mindset. But it's also, when it comes to other people, it's people put out on you their reflection, right? So if I don't think I can do it, then of course I don't think you can do it, because I can't do it. And that happens a lot with my relationship, for example. So many people say, because we have the type of relationship, oh, I wonder how many times you've gotten cheated on. And the thing is, like, I know it's never. That's the answer, never. Because I'm like, just because that's what you would do,
right?
You're putting that on me. But, like, we are people that know exactly what we want, and how we're living is perfect for us. So, like, your ideas of if my thing should work or not are telling me about you, not about me.
Right. See, there's one part that really amazes me with that is that somebody would say that to you, like it's your relationship, and somebody would have the nerve to say to you,
Oh, it happened this morning. One of my dad's friends, when we were walking this morning,
right,
he's like, "Oh, whatever." And I'm like, "How many times have you cheated on your wife?" He's like, "This one, none. The one before, a bunch of times." And I was like, "Then that's why you're saying what you're
right,
saying,
right,
because you're just reflecting your actions on me. But like, that's
yeah,
just not my reality. It's your
yeah,
reality."
yeah, no kidding. God, man, I think that's. I want to punch somebody. If somebody said that, I want to punch you in the face. It's my
I'm
relationship.
used to it, because
Yeah,
I realize that the way that I live is very unique, but like I'm a very different person. I always have been. So like
right,
what works for everyone else will never work for me. And I'm okay with that. Like
right.
I'm good with creating my own path and forging my own way in this life. And I don't need anyone else to
Yeah,
like agree or disagree. It doesn't matter to me.
yeah, very true. What was it? There was a topic that you wanted to touch on. That you mentioned.
Limiting beliefs. And I think it kind of goes with what we're talking about,
Yeah,
right? Because when we think that something is impossible, that is a limiting belief. We are creators. We are co-creators of this reality and this experience that we are all sharing as a collective. And our ability to create something or make something happen isn't dependent as much on our circumstances as it is on how much we truly believe that we are able and capable.
right.
And school has nothing to do with that. Our parents have nothing to do with that. I mean, obviously, if you grow up believing that there's nothing that you can do, then obviously that's going to establish your frame of mind. But it's one of those things that like we are so incredibly powerful, and we give away our power every day
Right.
when we believe the things that we are told, and we think that you only believe what you can see. I mean, if that was true, we wouldn't have electricity, we wouldn't
Sure.
have Wi-Fi, there would have never been an X-ray, because none of those things were seen until they existed. Oh,
Sure.
but someone believed
Yeah.
that they could happen, and they did everything in their power to make it happen, right? So
Yeah. Yeah. You think of all the successful people that have done things where it wasn't like there's a great story about Walt Disney. He lost jobs because he said he wasn't creative enough, right? And he created Disney World, right?
yeah. And I mean, look at Elon Musk. Like NASA
Yeah.
wasn't able to land the rocket back, but this one guy was like, I can make it happen.
Great
And
point. Great. I admire. That's the thing I admire him for the most. I saw an interview with him one time. Maybe we touched on it, where somebody said something to him about humanity in general, that there was something that wasn't there that needed to be. And he actually, like, he could tell, he stopped and he thought, I'm going to have to work on that. Like, it was something that hadn't been done before and somebody needed it done. And instead of, it was just immediate with him. I think his whole mindset was, okay, if something needs to get done, he didn't even think that it hadn't been done before. All he thought was, okay, I'm going to figure out a way to do it. I think that's so cool, that part of life.
yeah.
And you know what we touched on too? I think what I like is what I've learned more, I should say it that way. It's not just like hokey pokey, like nice stuff to say. It's actually like scientific. Don't you think that that's the way, like what you tell yourself, what the words that you use towards yourself, negative or positive, really reflect that that's what you're going to believe, because you're telling yourself that that's what it is, right?
Yeah, because that's how you're wiring your brain.
Yeah.
Right. So we have the ability to rewire ourselves. That's why people can get out of situations. They've been in a loop, and then they realize, like, I'm over this loop, and then they start doing things differently and they get out of the loop, right? But so we have the power to do that in our own brains by the way that we're talking to ourselves and the things that we're saying to ourselves. I mean, your brain creates your reality, not what you see. It's how you react to what you see,
Right.
and what meaning you give the things that happen. And based on that is your life, and what you're living, and what you're attracting, and what you think that is happening. So that's a crazy thing about the brain. Like whether it's real or is not doesn't matter. If you believe it, it's real for you.
Oh, totally.
So
yeah. See, that is, I think that's the incredible part. Like, you really create what you, and again, this is the learning process for me. So everybody knows, probably about 7 years ago, you and I started having these conversations. And that's when you first mentioned to me about the soul. And I do remember, not exactly, but I kind of remember thinking, okay. But yeah, that's kind of kooky, but we're friends, so I'll let that pass. I wasn't I didn't think you were wrong. I just didn't get it. So no, time goes on. Now it's like the light bulb started to go off for me or on for me, and I now start to think, okay, I get what she's talking about now. So when we discuss it, I think, well, yeah, why is that not as plausible as any other theories out there? Like, and I think you're really good at saying this. If somebody wants to believe in Christianity more, or whatever it is, they do it.
That's fine.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But do you find people, when you discuss, like, obviously you're very open to discuss your beliefs, that people are very dismissive of it and like you're crazy kind of mentality? Or do you think more and more people are starting to think that the potential to what you're saying, what you believe, is really accurate?
I mean, I'm really blessed that I'm surrounded by a lot of people that are open-minded, right? Because also, like, you attract what you put out, right? So because this is the vibe that I put out. And like, for example, during teacher training, I always say, I'm going to talk about a lot of things that are probably different from what you believe. Keep what serves you and throw away what doesn't. I'm not here to convince you of anything.
Right.
I'm just here to make you question certain things about where you are. And if it resonates, great. And if it doesn't matter. Like, the fact of the matter is, this is the philosophy and this is how it is. Whether you accept it or not, that's up to you.
Yeah.
For example, in yoga, because it's very attached to the Hindu philosophy, they, like, when Surya Namaskar A, which is the sun salutations that we do in the first practice of vinyasa, like, back then, it was done facing the east, and it was a prayer to the sun god. And they have a lot of gods, right? The god of destruction, Shiva, the lord of creation, Brahman, the love of, so the way that I see it, because I don't believe in gods in that way, like, that just doesn't resonate with me, is that these gods represent an energy, the energy to remove obstacles, the energy to create, the energy to destroy. So what you're doing is you're aligning yourself with the vibration of creation, of removing obstacles, of destroying something that's not serving you. And it's not necessarily a god that you're praying to. It's just an energy that you are invoking within yourself to be able to do something or not do something, right? And that's just the way I see it. Is that right? Is that wrong? It doesn't matter. It's the way I see it. It's what serves me, right?
Okay, so that's an interesting couple of points here. One is, so you've got this the Hindu and all this kind of stuff, that there's a certain set of beliefs, but that doesn't mean you have to believe in all of that, whatever stuff. You have your version, or whatever, however you want to phrase it, of what you believe in, right? Okay.
Yeah, like, I do a lot of stuff with the Buddhist community down here. And I'm not a Buddhist. Like, I don't believe the things that they believe, because they can't answer certain questions. And if you can't answer that, then I can't really go with it. But yet I love their community and how welcoming they are. So I go to retreats and I chant and I pray with them and I do whatever, because I love hanging out with that community. That doesn't mean that I'm going to become a Buddhist. It just means that there's certain things about their beliefs that I'm really interested in and that really resonate with me, even though their full extent of what they think, it doesn't really fit into my mind, because they believe that you really have to work on the karma that you created in the last life so that you create better karma for yourself in the next life. But then if you ask them questions like, okay, so if my neighbor asks me for a knife and I think that they're going to go cut some fruit and I let them borrow the knife, but they kill someone with that knife, what kind of karma does that create for me? Like, if you can't answer that, then why am I so worried about this karma thing if I don't even really understand how it happens, right? So I can't, that doesn't quite fit in with the way that I believe, but I can still admire certain things about it. And that's the fact that we all want to become like Buddha. We all want to live that middle way, find that middle way in which what we are doing is creating good vibes and creating a good situation, not just for ourselves, but others.
Yeah, very cool. So, like, if somebody, like, it seems to me, and again, I hope I'm not insulting people when I say this, like Christianity, for example, seems like Christians are very, that's it. There's a certain way of looking at it. That's it. There's the Bible, which is, you sure you agree? That's fine. If you want to believe that way, that's fine. they don't seem, there's not a whole lot of leeway there, right? It's like, what,
Yeah.
right. Okay.
Well, I think the main problem with Christianity is that people are more focused on like bowing down instead of becoming. Right? Like Jesus never said, bow down to me because I am this thing. He said, you and I are the same, and the divinity in me can become the divinity in you. And I think that everything in the Bible got kind of turned around for control versus to tell you like it is your responsibility as a Christian to become the divine being that your father put you down here to be. Right?
See,
like that's
See, that's the big thing. Yeah, you're right. So it's more like, again, like worshiping something or someone else as opposed. And one of the videos I saw, or I can't remember, I read someplace where with like your set of beliefs, it's more we all are gods, right? Which like why are we looking? Doesn't mean we're looking down at somebody. Doesn't mean we're looking up at somebody.
No,
we're all gods.
No one is better or worse than you are. No one is inferior or superior than you are. And part of what makes us suffer is that belief that there is something better than us or there is someone worse than us. Like our job here is to create the best version of ourselves. How do we know what that best version is? It's the version that helps increase their own vibration and the vibration of everyone around them. Like when I did ayahuasca, that's one of the things it taught me. Good and evil doesn't exist. Good and evil is an opinion because everything is vibration. So how do you know morally if something is right or wrong? If there is no true right or wrong, it's because of the vibration. Are you improving your vibration and the vibration of the collective? If your actions are not, whether you think they are right or wrong, if they are decreasing the vibration, that wasn't the right action.
Right. So you learn this doing ayahuasca. Okay. So when this happens doing ayahuasca, is somebody like that thought right there? Did that come into your mind on your own? Like nobody planted that seed there. That's just the way you thought while you were doing ayahuasca.
Well, if you ever do it, and I'm not suggesting that anyone do it, let me say that loud and clear. If it's never called you, it's not something that you just decide one day, I'm going to go do ayahuasca, because it is a very intense experience. But I went with the idea of life is like a game. So what is the purpose of this game?
Right.
And it showed me, right? Like there's everything is based on what you think.
Joanne, sorry to interrupt you there. I apologize doing that to you.
No,
so
that's okay.
you went to do ayahuasca with a purpose. There's something you wanted to. Okay.
Yeah. It's something that you should have an intention when you're doing it, like to get answers, to solve something, and for me, I wanted to understand more deeply, like the meaning of this experience that we're having. Right. And basically it was like, you're here to be all the awesomeness that you can be, and to be happy, and to be peaceful, and to find joy, to really truly enjoy this time, very, very short time that you have in this experience of life. And,
so what if somebody's joy is being like totally motivated? Like, okay, for me, I wanted to be an NHL player. So my joy was to become like, I had a goal, a dream. So that's my joy. Okay.
Perfect. Yeah. Because inadvertently you doing that means that you raised the vibration of other people, right? Like you had fans that started watching you and got involved in watching your team and were really excited to watch you guys play, right? And because we each have like a little thing within us, and no two people have the same thing. And it could be something that's meant to be shared, or it could be something that you just intrinsically feel good about. Like, and all of that is great. If you raise your vibration, by proxy, you're raising the vibration of the collective. Right. So whether it improves your life or others around you, that's not the point. The point is that it's lifting the vibration of yourself or others.
I may have told you a story too. This is all kind of making sense more now to me. So, and it's just not bragging. It's more, I don't really remember this. This happens when I was like 6 years old. My mother used to brag about this all the time. So we were growing up with a farm. The bus would come to one location. There'd be like, 20 kids would get on the bus at one place because all the farm people dropped their kids off there. So there's this girl at our bus stop. She had some disease. She was going blind. So the parents all got together and said, okay, well, each child will take a turn during the week getting her on and off the bus. for whatever reason, I stood up and said, no, I'll get her on and off the bus myself. Now, I don't recall this. I don't feel like I was just the great thing that Tom was doing. It wasn't that kind of thing. It just happened. And my mother used to brag about it all the time. But it's always seemed like, like every team I played on, I was always supposed to be the leader, helping other people and all this kinds of stuff. And I look back and I go, and first of all, I don't think I ever thought about it that much before. But like, this is really like forced me to go back and look like, okay, why am I the way I am?
Mm-hmm. Well, and if you think about it, like if you go to 16 personality tests and you take your personality test, like we all have certain tendencies. And
Right.
of course, not everyone can be leaders, because then who's going to follow through with what the leader wants, right? So everyone has, again, this intrinsic thing that is what they are here to share. Some of them are here to be teachers, some are here to be healers, some are here to make sure that what the leaders want gets done, right? And it's important to kind of learn that about ourselves so that we understand how we operate in the best way within ourselves and within a collective.
Man, very cool. So you know what comes, I know you know this stuff inside and out, but what comes clearer to me now is that, okay, so is it accurate to say, so who you are now on this earth, you were someone else before, right? Your soul was, and it doesn't even have to be a person. It's just a vibration, right?
If you believe in reincarnation, that's the idea. Right. Yeah.
Right. So again, that's the thing that we need to get, like when you discuss it with people, we're still stuck in that mode to think, okay, the world that we live in here is the way the world is outside in the universe. Well, it's not, right? Like the way we communicate, who we are, like our body and all that kind of stuff may be nothing really. I mean, just a vibration, right?
Well, when we are vibration, like there's no brain, there's no thought attached to that. That's just a part of the human.
Right.
So it's,
Right. Okay. So okay, that's a good point. So we're a vibration. So there is there could be a brain, but there doesn't have to be a brain from your previous life, right?
No.
So your previous life doesn't even mean you're really here on Earth. You could have been just someplace else in the universe.
Yeah, or in a different time era of this world, in a multiverse, in a different there's just so many probabilities, right? And whatever you believe, it's fine or it's not. But I mean, a lot of people have come here. Like I remember watching a show, and there was this little kid who was named James. And from the time the kid could talk, he would say, "I am James the Third," and his parents would be like, "Why the third? Like where did that come from?" And he would say, "Yeah, because I was a pilot." And he kept giving all this information that no 4-year-old should know. Right. And they literally found him, and he had been in World War II in a submarine in the war in Japan, and they found James. They found everything that he was saying. So he literally somehow had these memories from his past life at 4 years old.
Okay, so and why would he have those memories, and why doesn't everybody have those memories?
I think some of it gets imprinted in the soul somehow. It's how some people have these weird fears that no one can pinpoint. Like people that are afraid of drowning. Like, where does that even come from? Well, maybe they drowned in another life, or they're afraid of being burnt. Like I have this weird fear of mechanical things exploding. Like that, I won't turn on my generator. My dad has to do it, or someone else has to do it, because I have this thing of the generator exploding. So maybe in another life I died in some kind of mechanical explosion. Like, I don't know. But that's such a weird fear. Nothing has ever exploded that's mechanical for me to have this weird fear, you know?
Well, it's funny. I don't think this is unique to me. I think a lot of people have this, but like if I'm driving over a bridge, I have this weird feeling that I'm going to drive off the bridge. Like
or that the bridge is going to crumble.
Yeah. Right? There's a certain time that I'm on the bridge. It's never the same thing with parachuting. I have this idea that, and again, I don't think it's unique to me at all, but it's like the one time that I'm going to get the parachute, that parachute's not going to open, right? It's going to open a million other times, but it's not going to open when I get there. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and I'm the other way around. I mean, I went skydiving, and the smile, like there was not an iota of fear in me. Like I just wanted to fly. I just wanted to jump out of that airplane and fly. Right. I'm more scared of bungee jumping. But
Yeah.
it's supposed to. I mean, it's
Yeah.
safer, quote unquote. But I don't
Yeah.
know.
So okay, so we kind of dreams then. Where are you at with dreams? Like, what do you think a lot of dreams have meanings?
You know, I've thought about that before, and I don't know because I have such incredibly weird dreams
Oh,
that I can't find meaning in a lot of them. Like I
right.
remember, like, and I've had creepy, weird dreams too. Like I had a dream that I was on a like a deck, and the ocean was here, and there was a dolphin, and I'm playing with this dolphin, and I'm so happy playing with this dolphin, and all of a sudden he jumps up, and then the wave goes back, and when he falls in the sand, and he just breaks apart, and all his guts are out, and it's like, what does that mean? Like how? And that messed me up so
Is
bad.
that a
Like,
does that happen all the time, that
no,
dream?
I just
Oh,
had it
just one time.
once, but like I remember that whole week I was like, what is wrong with
Yeah.
my brain? Why would I have a dream like that? And then I've had dreams where like I'm driving and the houses are like the Barbie houses where you can open it up and see inside. And there's like refrigerators on fire outside and houses with like things that are upside down, like the bed is on the roof and just weird things. And like what could that possibly mean? I mean, I
So
just don't know.
so one of the readings I saw this past week was the theory was that when you sleep, that your soul leaves your body and goes off and has experiences. So when these dreams happen, that's what your soul is actually experiencing when you're gone, right?
Yeah, I mean, in yoga, it's nothingness. It's your body is nothing. That's why you don't really feel pain, and you can fly and you can breathe underwater because the human conditions
Right.
aren't really real in whatever world or plane we are traveling to when we're dreaming.
Right. Huh.
Like I can breathe underwater in my dreams, and I can fly.
Oh, I
I mean
know.
that.
I can fly in my dreams, and it's so that one dream is so recurring. I've had that dream 1,000 times, and
Yeah.
it's so realistic that I'm
Mhm.
flying. And I can think to myself, I can't believe I'm doing this. Like I'm in the middle of the dream. I'm thinking, how am I doing this? But I'm doing it. And like
Yeah.
I start to go down and I make some move and all of a sudden I go back up again. And that is a weird dream, that one. Like,
Yeah. Or like when you're doing like the moonwalk where you can like jump and float
yeah,
and
I
jump
don't
and
know if
float.
I don't have had that one. Not that one. The other one is too. But I get into where I need to defend somebody. So I'm getting into like a fist fight or shooting a gun or whatever it is, but I can't punch or I can't shoot the gun.
It's like
Yeah. I go to punch and it just doesn't, my body's not working. And I'm supposed to be the one to defend everybody, but I can't punch.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's why I don't know if there's meaning. I mean, I guess I would have to really go into studying that, and that's never really been a thing that's
Yeah.
like been too like
Yeah.
an inquiry that I've had in my mind. But I'm sure some dreams do have meaning. Like I was thinking about my mom the other day, and before going to bed, I was like, I really, really want to see you tonight in my dreams, and I dreamt about her. So
Oh,
it's one of those things like, and can we control our dreams? Because I know if you, for example, they'll say, put on a wristband, and all throughout the day, do this and say, am I dreaming?
oh,
And do it a couple, like every hour, am I dreaming?
right.
And then you start to get into the habit of doing that. So then in your dream, when you don't find the thing to snap, then you know you're dreaming. And then people say like to read something, but for some reason I can read in my dreams. So I think that's weird. Like I can see numbers and I know that it's the number. So I'm not sure if that works for me. But that way you can lucid dream and control your dream.
So when you said that you want to see your mother, can you actually see her face in your dream?
Oh, I talked to her. Yeah.
So
I mean,
that-
I didn't, excuse me, I wasn't lucid dreaming. So I didn't have a conversation that like Johanna me wanted to have, but she was in my dream. Yeah.
And so you remember her face, like,
Mm-hmm.
see, if I this is, I don't know if this is good or bad, but, and I think this goes with anybody from my past that's passed away, particularly my mother and father. If I didn't have a picture of them, I could not remember what they look like. Like if
Interesting.
yeah, if there's no pictures at all, particularly with my mother, for some reason, I just have no, again, I've got pictures of her, so I know what she looks like, but it's weird. Like I just, like, even if there's a dream and they're in it, I don't see their faces at all.
Interesting.
Yeah. Wow.
That's such a unique experience to everyone, you know?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And you got me thinking about a lot of stuff. That whole soul thing, like like when I've kind of got my set of beliefs now, and it evolves over time, right? I'm sure yours does too. Where it's like, so I'm with the Soul Council, and I'm deciding, okay, Tom, you're going to go back down to earth, or you're going to go to earth, and here's what you need to learn. Like here's a list of things. So here's how you're going, the parents that you're going to pick, the siblings that you're going to have, and you're going to learn from all these processes and everything. So now that I look back at my whole life, like whether it's my accomplishments or whatever it is, like, man, I guess that's what I had decided that I was going to do, right? That's how you look at it, right?
Yep.
So your life just didn't happen by happenstance. You made the decision that this is how your life. Now, was that in great detail? Do you believe that it's like the details about your life happened for a reason? Like you met Leo and you got married to Leo. Like, did you?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, so you think that your prior life, you decided, okay, I'm going to come down to earth and I'm going to meet Leo and get married.
I mean, I honestly think like he and I were one being at one point,
Okay.
and somehow got divided.
Right. Okay.
Sorry, I have a little bit of a cough.
No problem. That's right. You're allowed. You're allowed. You're not perfect.
No.
I know. Isn't that the best thing too? Once you realize.
And I also think like we meet those people at the time that we have to meet them. That's why we can't be so attached to lose something or someone, because I feel like people come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Like I'm a firm believer that that's true. So if someone came to teach you something,
right,
and that was it, then that's just a reason. But if they come in during like a growth stage of your life, then that's a season. But other people are meant to be with you throughout, and that's the lifetime. And those kind of people, like whether you talk to them and then you see them 10 years later and it's like no time has passed, like, yeah.
You know what I'll have happen to me is where, let's say I've had a relationship years ago, and this happened to me recently. And within like 2 or 3 days, I've had 2 or 3 women that I've had fairly long relationships just contact me again. Not really needing anything. Maybe I don't know what their intentions was, but it just seemed like they just want to get in touch again. One was very sweet. I had helped her during she had some health issues. Helped her during the start of the pandemic. We didn't know she probably had COVID before we really knew COVID was there.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't think I was being brave. I was more like this stubborn old guy. She said, "Well, you can't come down. Like she lives in the city. You can't come down there. You're going to get sick." I said, "Screw that." So I went down and helped her, and I didn't get sick. But it really, she thought of that. She'd gone through another health issue and thought about people that helped her in the past and contact me. But it's weird. It happens all like at a time where nothing's going on. Then all of a sudden within 2 or 3 days, there's a whole series of things that are kind of related to happen. Right.
Yeah. Magic.
It is. It is. See, and like this, okay. And here's, I probably asked you this before too, but do you think I wasn't paying attention before? I think those things really happened, but I just wasn't paying attention. Or do you think it happens more now because of my vibration is different?
I think it's both.
Okay.
Because, for example, I have a friend who's always walked the beach. She's lived by the beach in California her whole life.
Right.
And she would always walk the beach every morning. And she was a very like physical, material, like I'm working hard. She was a real estate agent, this and that. She started really getting into spirituality. And she had never found a sand dollar. And before she walked that morning, she was like, okay, if I'm really in control and I create my reality, I'm going to find a sand dollar today. And she found 7 in one day.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
So was it because she wasn't paying attention, or was it because she asked for it? Like,
right, okay.
I mean,
okay. So that's a good point.
On that.
So that's an excellent point. Let's think about that. So it could have been that she never looked for the sand dollar before. She could have walked right by a sand dollar. Mm-hmm. But either way.
Yeah, like for me, when my mom was on her deathbed with a ventilator, her oxygen level was very low. It was at like 40.
Right.
And I was talking to her and I was like, Like, I wish you wouldn't leave, but if you do, I want you to know that like you've been the best mother, and like I'm gonna be okay. Like you, and out of nowhere, it started going from 40 to 83, which is a weird number. It's my racing number. I have it
Oh.
tattooed.
Oh.
But normally it goes like 40, 45, 50, 55. Like it was never a weird
Oh.
number like that. And
Right.
it was going 40, 83, 40, 83, 40, 83. She died. The bank account that I got had a number 83. The number that I got, the phone number that I got for Leah when we changed the phone numbers had an 83. The debit card had an 83. Everything, like I'll be driving thinking about
Right.
her, 83 in the license plate, 83 miles an hour, 83 in the temperature of the car. Like it's just
See, I've heard that before, that people talk about that. Everybody has a certain number.
a number or a thing. Like for some people it's butterflies or dragonflies or
Right.
yeah.
Okay, but okay, so the question then is, so does your vibration have to be in a certain place? Like your vibration has to be higher so that you're aware of the number? That, you know, kind of going back to what we were talking about, like on the beach, maybe she just wasn't noticing the sand dollars, right?
Well, I think the thing is like as we are raising our vibration, our mind thinks about crap less.
Right.
So you're having less stupid conversations in your
Yeah.
head.
Yeah.
So that gives more space for you to pay attention to certain things.
Yeah.
Because a lower vibration means you're always constantly either ruminating in the past, thinking that you should have things done differently, and you have these things as and that keeps you stuck in the past. It doesn't
Right.
allow you to live in the moment.
Right.
So I think the more you raise your vibration and you start releasing all of that stupid stuff that the brain does, the more you can pay attention to the magic. I mean, I think the
Yeah.
world is magic.
I know it
The
is.
other day, I had everyone sitting in a silent meditation outside, and it was a Rupert Spira meditation called the Open Sky of Awareness. And at one point in the meditation, he asks you to open your eyes. When everyone opened their eyes, out of nowhere, these two hummingbirds came, and they were just playing with this tree. And the second he asked everyone to close their eyes again, the hummingbirds were gone.
Wow.
Like yes, it's a coincidence. Of course it's a coincidence, but it's magic. Like nothing
Right.
was happening, and then they opened their eyes and just magic happening, right? So
You know, and I know, like, that's where you kind of go back to the science of the whole thing too. Like, I'm getting into this quantum, and I don't probably do it justice to explain it, but there's one, it might be quantum mechanics, whatever it is, that says the protons and everything are just floating all over the place. And until we actually stop to look at it, there is nothing. But once we stop to look at it, it becomes something.
Mhm.
It was pretty cool the way they described it too. And again, I'm probably not doing it justice, but I
yeah,
thought,
the observer
Yeah.
determines.
Yeah.
It's pretty intense.
I know. And I thought,
And the quantum entanglement, how everything is really connected. Like all
Yeah.
of that is, it's
yeah,
again, we're taught that we have to see to believe.
right.
And all of these things are things that you can't see. So either you have faith and you believe, or you don't. But either way, like it doesn't matter, you know?
And I think I look back at my life too. I think probably without even realize I was doing it, I would have that belief. Like I really believed I could do it. Like I would tell myself over, I'm going to do it. I didn't know what I was doing. I just said, no, I'm going to do it all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think when we don't have this idea of I can fail, like when I started
Yeah.
my racing school,
Yeah.
there was never an idea of I can fail
Yeah.
because I had a day job, a part-time day job at a bank, so I
Sure.
was making money, and so like I just kept figuring out ways to make it happen,
Yeah.
and then the idea came to me like go to all the Solo One events, put a table down, put a bucket, $25 and I'll make you faster. And I would sit in the car with the drivers. I would give them 1 or 2 pointers to make them faster, and then I would sell them into coming to my racing school so I
Oh.
could teach them how to drive.
Okay.
And I mean, from nothing to something, it was like that.
Right.
Because there was never this I can fail. It was just how do
Right.
I make it happen, right?
Totally.
Because you can either be thinking, oh, is this going to work? Oh, or I can be thinking, this is how I'm going to make that work, right?
Yeah.
But it's hard for you to be thinking both things at the
Yeah.
same time.
Right. And
Either
that's
think
and I think you have to fight that sometimes too. Like there could be a bad day where maybe nobody came along and spent any money, right? But you think, oh, but you've got to, you can't allow yourself now to get consumed with that whole thought process. It's not going to work.
exactly. Yeah, again, whether you think you can't or you can,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
So
what is that
like,
saying? The person that thinks they can is right, and the person that thinks they can't is right. Yeah.
all right as well. Yeah.
So you're right. It doesn't really matter whether it's like the hummingbirds humming. It doesn't matter if it was meant to be.
Is it a coincidence or is it magic? Does it matter? Well, I think it's magic, so I'm right. You think a coincidence, and you're right as well.
Yeah.
Like, because that's just how you think, and that's the weird, crazy thing about this experience, right? Like if someone feels a certain way about something, you cannot change that, even if you think it's ridiculous. Like, you can't change their mind, even if it's wrong and they're making it up, because they think that is their reality. So they're not wrong.
Right.
And that's the messed up thing about this world, because so many people think such weird things, and it creates their reality because it's what they think.
So that could be good and bad though, too, right? I mean,
of course.
Right.
Of course.
Huh. Interesting. So if parents have little kids, and these kids are thinking, like the old stories, like they had an imaginary friend. Well, if the kids believe it's an imaginary friend, well, if the kids believe it's a friend, it's a friend. It's not imaginary. It's a friend.
Mm-hmm. It's imaginary for you as a parent because you can't see it. So you think they're imagining it, but that doesn't mean that they're not having that experience.
See, that's the thing too. We get stuck, and I know you know this, but we get stuck in so many thinking like, okay, in that case, it's imaginary. We use the word imaginary, but it's not necessarily imaginary. If the kid believes that it's a real thing, that's not imaginary. It's the real thing.
And what's wrong with it? You know, like, oh, they're gonna grow up. No, most kids grow out of that. Like they don't keep living when they're in college thinking that their friend is with them when they're not, unless they're like schizophrenic, right? Like there could be a true issue, but for most kids it isn't an issue. It's just they have a very vivid imagination, and that's okay. Like you should foster that instead of tearing it down.
Right. It is. It's just, I don't know why it is I get stuck on this. So I am bound to determine never to use an umbrella, because I think to myself, okay, we take a shower. So why are we worried about getting wet? I know we have our clothes on.
How about this? Anytime it rains and people have to walk out in the rain, they go like this.
Yeah.
It's like, is that going to make you get less wet?
or running fast through the rain. You're still going to get wet. It's not going to change. I know.
I like to just look up at it and be like, oh, I love the rain.
Yeah, but that's one of the big things that you've helped me with, is really opening up and thinking about all the things that happen in our world that we're told this is the way things are supposed to be, right? The days of the week, the months, all that kinds of stuff, time in general. And then you start, well, why? It doesn't, who says? And I'll tell you what, that's really, it is that old saying, and this kind of makes me believe more too, because in the whole thing that we came here, our soul comes here to learn. Because I look at it and think, okay, so let me get this straight. So I was a soul, and I made a conscious decision to come here to Earth, pick my parents and everything, and I came out as a baby. I knew nothing. All I needed to know how to do was breathe and take a poop. That's all. And I didn't really have to think about those things too much. I really haven't evolved much more. But the thing is, so now all the things you've learned, and that old saying where I wish I knew then what I know now, it just all makes much more sense now that, because that's why you came here, is to learn all these different things. So instead of thinking, geez, I wish I knew that stuff back then, he said, well, no, that's the way it was supposed to work. I was supposed to learn all these things.
Yeah. And it's crazy because like time is something that's such an illusion. Like I have a client that's always saying, well, I'm getting older, so I don't have a lot of time. And I always say, stop saying that. Like, how many people are born and die before they get to the age of 5?
Right.
So that doesn't make sense. Not only that, how many people live 70 years, but for 50 or 60 out of those 70 years, they do the exact same thing every day. So were those 50 years go like that? They happen in a blink of an eye, and they don't start living until after that. So then those 20 years afterwards become an eternity of experiences and stuff. So time is an illusion, because if you're doing the same thing every day, it's like one day happened in 10 years, versus if you're really filling up your life with richness, time slows down and you get to have so many experiences.
Sure.
So what's time in
And
that
even if
sense?
I think you're right, it does slow down. But even though it's at some point it's going to end for you, life is going to end. It's what you've done. Don't you think it's kind of like once you're done, you go, man, like before you close your eyes, you go, man, I did a lot of crap, right? I mean, that was a fun life.
Yeah, like I always tell anyone that'll hear it, like when I die, if I'm on my deathbed and you ask me what I regret, I better be telling you things that I did, not things that I didn't do.
Yeah,
Like I do not want to leave anything undone,
yeah,
anything unsaid. So I'm big on like if I get curious about something, I'm doing it.
yeah.
Like and it's probably why I've been as wild as I've been and
Oh,
tried as
sure.
many things as I've done, but I don't regret any of it. Like it got me to where I am today. Could I have done things in a different way that would have been healthier or better for me? Probably, but do
Yeah.
I care? No, I wouldn't take it back.
Well, yeah, too, and it wouldn't be, then you wouldn't be who you are now either, right?
Exactly.
That's the thing, yeah.
Yeah.
And I've gotten more because there's some bad thing. Like going through the process of writing a book was good and bad for me because I look back at some of the things and go, "Oh, Tom, that was stupid. That was just that. What were you thinking?" But then I look back, and go, "Man, but that's who I am. I mean, that's how I got to where I am now."
And the thing is, like, you say, well, if I would go back, I would do things differently. Bullshit. You're going
Yeah,
to do things exactly the way you did them because of who you were and the
yeah,
way you thought at that point in
totally,
time. There's nothing would
totally.
have been different. It
I
would,
know.
would be exactly the same.
I think it's funny you say that because I've thought about that. I think my only response would be, no, I would do the same thing. I just do it harder, right? I just like, even
Yeah.
the bad stuff. I just do the bad stuff harder. Yeah. That's cool. Oh, great job today. Listen, I really enjoy our conversations.
Me too.
So, what do you know when the power's coming on back then or no?
No, there's two trees lying on two different power lines. So,
No.
like, it just depends when they come out. The thing is, my neighborhood's really small.
Right.
There were 2 days ago, there were 150,000 people without electricity. We're down to 84,000. But
Oh,
because my neighborhood's very small, there's only like 30 houses
oh,
affected. They usually leave my area
yeah. Yeah.
till late. But we have a couple generators. We have them on for 12 hours, off for 12
All right.
hours. So to keep the food cold and
Yeah, you'll be
I don't
fine.
mind.
All right, you Puerto Rican princess. Again, people get a hold of Johanna at Bay Lifestyle. And again, your phone number one more time if people want to call you.
815-501-5070.
You're a great person, my friend. Glad you're in my life. All right.
Love you right back at you.
See you in 2 weeks.